we're in here talking about the Ye thing. I'm getting text and everything. Vonnie just hit me and said, I was just listening to your show, and oh boy, that Kanye ish is wild. It's like, I mean, everybody is having that response. While we were playing the songs in here, we were looking at it because people were texting and saying, everybody's interpreting what he said. This line is what caught everybody's attention. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6. The pronouns here, he, when he was 6. He didn't say we. But the next line he says, and then we acted out what we saw. So the collective isn't the 6. The 6 he's pointing to is him. Now, it doesn't mean he was greatly older, because then on the other side, he says, I did this with my male cousin until I was 14 years old. Yeah. So we're interpreting a bunch of stuff in here, but I don't think he's saying that they both were 6 at the time. I think there was, if you want to look up his cousin, who, if you got the name and look him up in the arrest record and find out how old he was or whatever, then we could try and do that. But the more important part is that people are writing in, and everybody is speaking to the family dynamic, that this is very popular. Babs told me that families do go through this out there with siblings and people or extended family members or whatever. And my fear is that people are out here not reporting it.
Yeah, that happens all the time. They just want to forget about it and pretend it didn't happen.
Like, is that what is?
Yeah, a lot of people do that. Victims, the people that did it, they hope and pray that they won't do it again or that it won't happen to them again. And it's really dark those days, I'm sure. So some people want to get help and go to therapy. Some people want to tell the whole world.
If your child has a sibling or a family member, cousins or whatever, if you got a family member that does something like that to another family member, you keep it locked up, because that feels like that secret could tear the inner fiber of a family. Like course. That, keeping that quiet. Like, we ain't telling no authorities. We're not telling nobody with I'm not talking about just jail, but I mean, how we gonna get some help? How we gonna stop this if don't nobody address it?
Well, they allow it, essentially. I've definitely read and heard of many stories where the family will protect the uncle or the aunt or somebody that's happening. Let's say the uncle, just for this example, because they don't want him in trouble. He's a good man.
But those are adults. I wasn't even thinking adults. I was thinking kids. Like, even if we just take the extreme that he's in his 13, 14 realm, 12, 13, 14, he's a teen. Yeah. Because the stories we've also saw was that he was a teen when this happened. But if he's pointing to the fact that he was 6 at the time, let's just say it's under adulthood on both sides. But if we're talking about an adult that did something, I would definitely think that the law enforcement had to be called.
Yeah. Out of the 813, I'm going to leave this person's name out. It says, it happened to me at 4 with a very much older cousin. I told no one.
Oh, that hurts.
You have no idea.
And I would imagine, like, Kanye's parents are very religious too. It's probably something that was never spoken about or even known by the parents.
That's a heartbreaker.
Yeah, they say that if kids are exposed to certain lifestyles or porn too young or anything like that, they could try certain things. Out of the 727, this just came in, had an ex-boyfriend whose son did this to the younger siblings.
And if you, that's heartbreaking to hear. But it's just such a dark thing that if you leave it without it being addressed, that multiplies. Like, that darkness gets bigger. That darkness becomes part of your family's DNA. Like, we got a secret, and we got somebody who's hurt, who's been hurt, and can't get any help because we are proud. Is basically what we're saying.
Yeah, too proud to, and also scared. You could be scared of the judgment. You don't know what's going to happen after you say something. Out of the 813, we're getting a ton of texts, and they're all admitting that this happened to them.
Right.
Here's another one. Been through it. It's not comfortable thing to tell when you're a kid and someone older is inappropriate and doing those things to you.
Again, this conversation is probably more valuable than the salacious part of, ooh, it's Ye, ooh, pointing at, oh, wow, another Kanye thing. Because when would any of these people who have had this pain happen, who said that nobody said anything, we just kept it quiet, they have never had a chance to have this part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So while we don't really feel comfortable having this kind of conversation, it needs to be had. You see the barrage of messages we get in right now.
Here's another good example why people don't speak up. Out of the 813, this happened to me and my younger sister. She spoke on it and no one believed her and was ostracized. So I decided to keep quiet.
Wow. This says numbers are high. I think child molestation happens in 1 of every 3 households. This goes unreported.
Yeah.
This one out of the 727. As kids, we played hide and go hunch. It was amongst us kids, many not knowing what the hell we were doing, but it definitely happened.
Wait a minute now. I mean, we play. Now, wait now. Okay, let me clear. We played that not with family members, but we played hide and hunch, or catch a girl, kiss a girl.
Right.
All those.
I never played that.
That's what I'm saying. It was terrible. It was also the time.
Yeah, this is not saying family members. This is saying as kids.
As kids, yeah, we definitely played those games, but it was with like kids on the playground who were not your family. We wasn't playing it at the reunion.
This one's we're going in a little deeper here. Out of the 407, this one says, I was molested by my mother's best friend's son, who later raped me at 18, and his mom still doesn't know to this day. A lot of this goes unreported. These people may have not even told anybody in their family, and they're texting us.
I mean, and I appreciate that. I wish that you had gotten a chance to tell somebody. I would just say anybody who's been through this, and I've seen at least 40 that have come through in the last 5 minutes. My only thing is, when you look at everything that you've had as far as relationships, you probably can see how it's affected how you deal with people.
Yes.
You've probably seen how, whether it's opposite sex, whether it's intimacy, whether it's any of those things, you probably see how it's played a part. And I just, I would hope that while you are older now, or maybe this could be the impetus of you realizing that it's unsettled, and you can sit with somebody with maybe some of your employment benefits that you have at your job, where they offer counseling and they offer stuff like that, where you can sit down with somebody and talk this out loud in your adult head to try and get past some of that trauma that you've had. Again, I don't know if Kanye gets that grace, but if all of this is bringing all of this forth that you guys have held on to for so long, I think that it's time for you guys to talk to somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's people doing the math on the age.
Okay.
So they started when they were 6, went to they were 14. His cousin went to jail when he was 17, which was 2 years later after they had stopped. So his cousin's actually a year older than Kanye.
Okay.
Okay.
If that's the math. Okay. All right.
So they were
I don't know any of that, so I can't even concur or differ from that. But
out of the 941, I was 6 years old, and my older teenage cousin did it to me. I did not come out to my parents about this information until I was 14. I had to go through a school resource lady to call them because she noticed how depressed I was. Wow. Your own family doesn't see how depressed you are. That's crazy.
I mean, there were people who said that they didn't tell because they weren't believed. I mean, like the one that you read.
Yeah.
People don't want their family to have that dynamic, and so that's where that fear comes in. But you also got to be there to protect your kids.
But that's your main job in life once you have a child. That's your only job.
I mean, this is happening. It happened to me with my step grandfather. I mean, this is, a lot of times kids are too young to understand that it's wrong.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all. Chris just hit us. I appreciate y'all being the outlet for people to let this out for the first time. Someone is healing today because of y'all. I and I mean, I don't know if I want to take, listen, if we're going to take that for us, then that means that we would have to give that to Kanye. I don't know if we're the impetus for their healing. I think this exchange and somehow how Kanye has brought this to the conversation is giving them a pathway for it. But I still feel that this is still a muddy part of his BS that he's been throwing around. Like, it's like, how, I just
you don't know when to take it seriously or not because everything's.
I'm definitely taking it seriously, but I just don't know if I want to give him credit for people's healing, because he has been so against people healing.
Yeah.
Like, everything that he said with swastikas, with this, with that, with this group, with that group, with Jay-Z and his children and everything. You know what I'm saying? There's been just mean nastiness thrown around. So I can't just bow it up with a rainbow and say, man, but look at this joy that he has brought people and this honesty. It's like, no, I believe that he is still being the nasty Kanye that we are seeing currently.
Yeah.
If there's a silver lining, that these people are able to at least realize that, hey, they might need to talk to somebody who's real, and not just us and sharing that the moment happened, but let's get you something tangible that you can pull from to try and pull you out of whatever it is. The people who called us at 46, I'm 46, and it still affects, me, and like this. So there's people out there who still got to go through it.
Yeah, the 813. My stepdad did it to me when I was 16, and my mom knew and gave him the go-ahead. It's just, I'm keeping all these anonymous to be respectful, but if it's just ongoing. It's very common.
How do you even trust your parent after they let something happen to you?
I don't think once you become a little bit older and you realize what happened, I don't think I personally, you do what you want, obviously. I can't have a relationship with someone like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody just text, thanks, Kanye.
Well, we're having this conversation because of what he said. So, and some people, it's hard for them to even talk about. There are texts that are coming in saying that they've never even told anybody before.
Yeah. And even with all the bad stuff that Kanye has been done, like this one thing right here to kind of bring awareness to it, and the fact that we're talking about it and other people are using this as an opportunity to kind of get it out. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Not every family approached it this way, but out of the 954, it says, once my family found out, they kept us away from my uncle and my cousin.
Kept him away. But nothing was reported, which also is egregious.
Yeah.
Not that you want to send anybody, but if you're going to, I would straight up hurt somebody if I don't care who it is, especially a family member, count your days.
Forget all that. I don't care what family member it is. If that happened, they're going to jail. Mm-hmm. I got to say something.
If they're alive.
Somebody out at the A13 said this. I just spoke with my 13-year-old about this matter a few days ago, because I want that open relationship that she can come to me about anything.
Good. That's great.
This is why it's extremely important to discuss certain behaviors with your child at an early age. Also explain, please let me know if any inappropriate behavior with anyone, including close family members, occurs. Let them know you are not going to be upset with them, and emphasize that point strongly.
Of course, you got to protect them. Take it out on
that
the kids.
Part right there. If we can gavel anything about this very out of the norm conversation, is that part. To have a conversation with your kids where they understand, what do they say on Law and Order? And I always joke about Law and Order, but good touch, bad touch with the doll and all that stuff that they do, they use those to make it a little bit more innocent. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But like when kids are sitting there and they're like, hey, can you show me on the doll or whatever? Your kids need to understand good touch, bad situations. If anything feels awry, they got to have a pathway to the parent. And honestly, that old thing about not saying nothing or the parent not believing you, we all got to lock up and just be like, yo, we got to say something.
Let's do better.
Like we got to do better.
Yeah, how could you not?
To have any conversation that started with, oh my God, Kanye said this, and to get 200 to 300 messages in here of people saying I'm going through or having the same conversation.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. So if anything, let us all collectively do better with that, because ultimately all we got to do is protect kids.
Yeah, definitely.
And ourselves, because I guarantee you some of the parents who have had to try and swallow their pride because of family story and stuff like that, they probably have been hurt by it too. Mm-hmm. I didn't protect my kid.
Right.
So now I feel horrible.
And you got to live with that for the rest of your life.
Yeah. So, it's much healthier for everybody to be able to get this stuff out. So, I'm applauding everybody for sharing it. I would love to see you guys go another step and talk to somebody with some sort of authority and some sort of way to help you maneuver these thoughts so you don't have to drag that into that baggage into another relationship or something like that. So if we have to thank Kanye for being able to have that conversation, then thank you, Ye.
For the convo.
For the conversation.
Yes.
Not for
anything else.
Nothing else.
No.
Orlando and the Freak Show.
If you want more, and I know you do, make sure you hit like and hit subscribe right below.